Hello, everybody. Welcome to championship series rather of the Demolition League. This is game 1 of 5, best of 5 between the Seattle Mariners, number 3 seed, and the Houston Astros, the number 4 seed. Starting pitchers for today's game for Seattle, it'll be right-hander Taijuan Walker, and for Houston, it will be their number 1 guy, Dallas Keuchel. Seattle had to use their number 1 guy, Felix Hernandez, to get past the Mets, while Houston took care of Cleveland in 4 games, so they were able to save Dallas Keuchel for that. Starting lineups, a little bit of a change for Seattle because Cano injury, the Robinson Cano injury, he is out for the playoffs, the rest of the playoffs. So Jones, a backup outfielder, was added to the roster, and that means Chris Taylor, against the left-hander Chris Taylor, will be playing second base for Seattle. In the bullpen, they have added, actually it should be right-hander, not a left-hander. They have added Tony Sick as the 5th right-hander and dropped the 3rd left-hander Vidal Nuno, so they can be more in line with the 5 and the 2 that Houston has. So Tony Sick is there. So Tony Sick, Sean O'Malley, and Jones are both printed players that I printed, or players are printed off the Stratomac PC. So I have their cards printed out just on regular pieces of paper, so hopefully they'll suffice just to get by for the series. All right, so we are ready to go. First things first is Taijuan Walker, and he'll be facing Jose Altuve. Get this little piece of paper out of here. Jose Altuve will get the call to start things off here in the Demolition series. Demolition, I don't know if you call it World Series, Demolition Championships, whatever you want to call it. We'll see what happens. Walker, 2-6 to Altuve. It's a ground ball to short, and we're underway. 1 down, and that will send up the right fielder, George Springer. We get a 4-11 for Taijuan Walker. That's a fly ball left field X. The left fielder is Gutierrez. He is a 3. 3 and a 12 is going to most likely go to his error check. We'll double check it for a left fielder. 3 and a 12 does go to his error check. Gutierrez is an E5. E5 and a 6 for a left fielder is a fly ball B, which is good enough. That's out number 2. 2 down. I don't want to show the chart because last time I brought the chart in here, it messed up the focus on the camera and it got all blurry. So just have to take my word for it that I told you it was the right reference. Here's Marwin Gonzalez at first base. 3-9, and that's a strikeout. So Taijuan Walker, which is a 1-2-3 inning. Go to the bottom of the first, no score. Injury chances for the pitchers. Taijuan Walker is a 6-12. Dallas Keuchel is a 0. He cannot be injured. So Dallas Keuchel will start it off here in the bottom of the first, facing Franklin Gutierrez. He's in there against a lefty. Seth Smith's on the bench. Several lefties on the bench. Smith and Morrison, most notably, are on the bench for Seattle because of the lefty going. 6-4 against the right-hander. That's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Mr. Correa. He's a 2. 2 and a 6, I think, is a good play. We'll double check it. 2 and a 6 is a ground ball A, so it's definitely a good play. 1 away. And the bottom of the first is underway for Chris Taylor. He very young in his 2015 career. Of course, later on, a couple years from now, he'll be a fixture with the Dodgers. Still is, actually. But very young Chris Taylor in this one. 5-12 is a ground ball pitcher X. That's Keuchel. He's a 1-E6. 1 and a 14 means they're going to the error check for an E6. E6 and a 7 for a pitcher. E6 and a 7 for a pitcher is a ground ball A. So again, good play. Keuchel will throw to first. 2 down very quickly. And we move on now to Nelson Cruz, the right fielder. We get a 4-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. That is Colby Rasmus. He's a 3. 3-20 is going to be good all day long, and Rasmus will make the play, and down goes Seattle in the first. 3 up, 3 down on both sides of the house. We go to the second, no score from Seattle. You're in game one of the Demolition League Championship Series. And due up, it'll be Carlos Correa, followed by Valbuena and Gaddis. So Correa, I'm sorry, Keuchel up there. He's not going to bat. It's a DH game only with the American League. We DH in the whole series because we're following the rules of baseball at the time. 2015, American League is DH. So. Walker, 3-3 to Correa is a leadoff walk. And Houston has their first base runner. And I had those big, huge discs that were taking up too much room. So I'm going to try these miniaturized versions and see if they do very well. If they don't, I'll for game two, I'll go back to my disc. But right now, I'm going to go with these little guys to show that they're there. Correa is a B stealer, so he will have to be held. He will have to be held. The question is, will he try to run? Sucre's a -3 arm, so that's going to kind of put a kibosh on that. So they will hold him there, but not send him. Valbuena, 2-4 for Valbuena's a fly to right. That's out number 1. Hauled in by Nelson Cruz, 1 down. Brings us to the designated hitter, Evan Gaddis. 1-5, and that's a strikeout. So 2 quick outs after the leadoff base runner is aboard. 2 quick outs, and that brings up the left fielder, Colby Rasmus. 1-3, and that's a ground ball to second to end the inning. We'll call it a 4-6 fielder's choice as Taylor flips to Miller covering at second for the force play since it's a ground ball A. And that's going to end the inning, and Houston leaves a runner stranded at first base. We go to the bottom of the second, no score from Seattle. And now I've just moved the field a little bit. I need to go and make sure it's still copacetic. Nothing is getting blocked off. I don't think it is. I think we're still okay. All right, go due up for Seattle is going to be Kyle Seager, the third baseman. This is a lefty-on-leuty matchup. One of the few lefties in the lineup. Only 2. He's got Seager and Miller. Only 2 lefties in the lineup. Keuchel, 5-7 against the lefty. Struck him out. So Seager out on strikes. And that brings up Trumbo, who's playing first base in this one. Not a very good first baseman. He's a 4E10. But they want his bat, and they want to be able to get Montero's bat in the lineup. So Montero's a 5 first baseman, so Trumbo's the lesser of the 2 evils. 1-3 against the left-hander will be a strikeout, so it didn't matter. Struck him out. 2 down for the first of the, well, the only in the starting lineup, the only computerized printed player that I have, and that is Sean O'Malley. I know it might be hard to see on the video, but I'll read it off as best I can. Very light print. Keuchel, 3-7. That's going to be a walk. I don't know how well it shows up, but that is a walk right there. So it is a 2-out walk issued to O'Malley. And he is a B stealer, so he will have to be held. Castro's a -1 arm, so you're talking 45% chance. So I don't think they're going to send him. They will have to hold him, but they won't send him. And here is Jesus Montero, DH. 4-7 against a righty. Struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. So Seattle gets a runner on, but nothing becomes of it. And we go to the third inning, no score. And actually, Keuchel ends up striking outside around that walk. So we go to the top of the third. Taijuan Walker back out. His fatigue is a 6. Keuchel is a 7. So they got plenty of juice in the tank. And they're both well rested. So coming up for the Astros will be catcher Jason Castro, followed by Gomez, and the top of the order Altuve. 5-7 against the lefties. A solid single to right field for Jason Castro. He is an E stealer, so he will not be held. But he's on first base to start the inning. And now you got Carlos Gomez, the number 9-hitter in the lineup. He is a B bunter, so they could think about doing a sacrifice. It would make him a C bunter. And that was the first hit of the game, actually, by Castro. So I think we're going to go for the bunt. We're going to go for a sacrifice bunt. Houston and Seattle figure it to be a tight game. They're going to try to manufacture some runs. He's a B bunter. He will now be a C bunter on the advanced bunt chart. And we get a 5, and a C and a 5 is batter thrown out by pitcher, runners advance. So good bunt. It's going to go sacrifice. It's going to go 1-4, as Taylor had to cover first base. But that will send Castro up to second base with 1 out, and back to the top of the order for Jose Altuve. Castro not being held on second base, obviously, not a very good runner. 3-3 for Altuve. Ground ball first base C. That'll get the runner to third base. So now we got the runner at third with 2 outs. Going to go 3-1 as Trumbo flips to the pitcher. Walker covering. And Castro takes third, but now there are 2 outs, and it's up to George Springer. He flew to left his first chance. 2-9, and he's going to strike out, plus there's an injury chance, so that's going to end the inning, but we could add insult to the injury, or injury to the insult of striking out, I guess. Proper way to say it. But we know it's a 0 on the board now, thanks to the strikeout of Springer, but now we bring in the injury chart for the batters. Springer needs a 1-4 to stay in the game. Anything else, he's going to miss some time. That's a 5. He's just going to miss the remainder of the game, so he'll be eligible for the rest of the series. Just he has to come out right now. So Houston will have to make an adjustment to their roster as Springer has to come out. And they will go with Preston Tucker. So Preston Tucker will take over in right field. So we're going to have Tucker as the new right fielder. Not as good defensively, but decent stick. And we go to the bottom of the third, still no score. Dallas Keuchel, the batter, or the pitcher rather. So let's write in Tucker is the new right fielder. So they definitely lose something defensively. He's a 4 defensively, so that's definitely going to hurt. All right, Brad Miller steps to the plate. The other lefty-on-lefty matchup in this game for Seattle. That's a 1-8, and that's a ground ball. All these hits in column 1 against lefties, and he found a ground ball to first. And Gonzalez will just field it, step on the bag, 1 away. Miller is retired. Brings up Sucre, the catcher. He's in there instead of Zunino because he hits lefties a lot better. So if he can find column 1, he can do some damage. And he did 110, but he found the wrong number. Let's pop out to short for out number 2. So 2 quick outs, and the order flips to the leadoff man, Franklin Gutierrez. 2 outs and the base is clear. 6-6, and that's a solid single, and that's the first base hit for the Mariners in the game. Franklin Gutierrez is aboard. I have a feeling these may be too small, so I'll try to find a compromise. All right, Chris Taylor is up. Gutierrez is an E-stealer. He will not be held. For 7, that's a strikeout to end the inning. So after 3 innings in the books, it's no score from Seattle, as the pitchers are ruling the first 3 innings at least. And now Taijuan Walker back out. Will be facing Gonzalez, the first baseman, followed by Correa and Valbuena, the third baseman. 3-7, that's a solid single for Marwin Gonzalez. So a leadoff single for Gonzalez. He's a D-stealer. He will not be held. But he's a leadoff runner, and that can be dangerous. Although Houston did get the leadoff man on last inning via a walk, or 2 innings ago via a walk, and last inning via a single. So they've had the leadoff guy on each of the last 3 innings, but have not scored. So maybe Taiwan Walker's playing with fire a bit. Here's Correa. 4-7, that's a strikeout. So Correa down on strikes, 1 away. For the third baseman, Luis Valbuena. 6-9, and Walker's a 6-12 for injury, so he's okay on the 6-9, but maybe not on the result. That's a 1-11 home run. That's a 13. It will be a double off the bat of Valbuena. The question is, can Gonzalez score? Gonzalez runs as a 13. He was not being held, makes him a 14. The double is assumed to go to center field. Center fielder arm, O'Malley, is a +2. So that turns Gonzalez into a 16. So a 1-16, they're going to send him. 1-16, he will score. And he does. So it's RBI double for Luis Valbuena. And the Astros lead it 1-0 as they draw the first run of the game. RBI double by Luis Valbuena. And Gonzalez chucking around all the way scores from first base. Valbuena, E-stealer, doesn't run well, will not be held at second. Here is Gaddis. 4-8, and that's a walk. So that's going to put 2 on with only 1 out. It does set up a double play for the left fielder, Colby Rasmus. Colby Rasmus. Double play is in order, though. 4-7, and that's a strikeout. So 2 down. And that will send it to Jason Castro, as Walker will try to minimize the damage to 1 run if possible. 2 on, 2 out, 1 in. 5-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is going to be Miller, and Miller is a 3. 3 and a 13, probably an error check, but we'll see. 3 and a 13. No, actually, it's going to be in play. Ground ball C, good enough. Gets the 3rd out. So Taiwan Walker gets out of it with just the 1 run, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Score 1-0. Favor the Astros. So Dallas Keuchel's been given a lead to work with. And actually, we're going to have a defensive switch. Rasmus is actually going to be in right field, and Tucker's going to be in left because Rasmus is the better fielder and the better arm. So, just a little nuance there that they will switch positions. Doesn't really affect anything else, but just for an FYI. All right, so for Seattle, Nelson Cruz will lead off against Keuchel, but now they're down 1-0. But Cruz has a loaded column 1 versus the left. But he found 4. 4-8, so it's a walk. So leadoff walk is issued to Cruz. He will not go anywhere. He's a D-stealer, so he's not going to be held. And here's Kyle Seager, but it is the leadoff man on. That's big. So here is Seager. 3-12 against the lefty. That's a low max to first base, and that's a double play. Boy, what a bad break that was. L3 for out number 1, and Gonzalez just steps on the bag to complete the double play. 3 unassisted, and the inning is over. I'm sorry, it's 2 outs. My bad. It's 2 outs. The inning's not over yet. That's just 2 outs, but it does erase all the runners, or the 1 runner that was on, I should say. Here's Trumbo now with 2 outs and the bases clear, so bad break there. Seager hit it hard, but right at Gonzalez, who easily doubled off Cruz from first base. Trumbo 5-6, and that's going to be a 6, which is a double. 2 stars, but didn't matter. But now, how big is that doubling off of first base? You'd have runners at second and third and 1 out otherwise, but you know what to say about ifs. So 2 out double for Trumbo. And that brings up O'Malley, who walked his first time up. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Does well against lefties, though. 4-9. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 4-9. A 1-11 is a single. That's a 5, but it's only 1 star. So, again, without that double play, that would have been a run scored. As it is, it's runners at the corners and 2 outs. So Keuchel can still get out of the mess by simply getting out Montero. So Jesus Montero is up. Runners in the corners and 2 outs. 3-7, and he does. He strikes out Montero to end the inning. So how about that? Seattle gets close, but can't get anything to happen. And we go to the 5th. Still 1-0 favor of the Astros. Taijuan Walker back out. Will be facing number 9 hitter Carlos Gomez, then the top of the order with Altuve. 6-2 for Taijuan Walker against a righty. Ground ball first base X, that could be interesting because that's Trumbo and he is a 4. 4 and a 17 though, he might catch a break. 4 and a 17 is a ground ball C, good enough, so he will flip to Taijuan Walker covering for out number 1. So wasn't pretty, but he got it done. That's all that counts. And there's 1 away. And of course, I'm recording this game on a Sunday morning. Someone just has to cut their grass. They couldn't do it yesterday. They just have to do it now. So if you hear a lawnmower in the background, that's what it is. 5-5. And that is a strikeout for out number 2. You would think on a Sunday morning you would have the quiet factor going for you, but obviously not today. Here's Preston Tucker. His first at bat since coming in for the injured Springer. 6-8, and he's going to do some damage. That's a 16. That's a double for Preston Tucker. 2-out double for Tucker on that 6-8 result. 2-out double for Preston Tucker, and that brings up Gonzalez, who singled and scored the only run of the game his last time up. Tucker is an E-stealer, will not be held at second base. Gonzalez against Walker. 1-9, struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. So Walker pitches around that 2-out double. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-0. Favor of the Stros. And Dallas Keuchel back out. And he will be facing, for the Mariners, Miller, Sucre, and then Gutierrez. Bottom of the order. Brad Miller rounded to first his first time up. 6-9, and that is a strikeout against the lefty. So 1 down for Keuchel. Takes care of Miller. Brings up Sucre. Sucre popped to short his first time up. He did find column 1, but he found the 110, which is a pop to short. This time it's a 4-10 on Keuchel's cards. Fly ball center field X. Center fielder is Gomez, and Gomez is a 2. 2 and a 3, that could be problematic. I hope that showed up on camera because I think I got cut off a little bit, but it is a 3 there. 2 and a 3 is actually going to be a single, so it will drop in for a base hit for Sucre, as Gomez was not able to get it. Had Marisnick been out there, he was a 1 fielder, he would have caught that, but Gomez is a much better hitter, so they really want to use Marisnick as a defensive replacement late in the game, presumably with the lead. All right, here is Gutierrez. Sucre, of course, not being held on as a slow runner. Keuchel 3-8 to Gutierrez is a strikeout for out number 2. 2 down. And it's going to leave it all up to Chris Taylor. 4-9, and that is a 1-11 single, but that's a 20, so it's going to be a ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning as Valbuena tosses over to Gonzalez to complete the play. At the end of 5 complete, it's still 1-0 favor of the Astros. Both pitchers holding their own. Taijuan Walker, RBI double by Valbuena back in the 4th, the only run of the game. And coming up now will be Carlos Correa to lead off the top of the 5th against Walker. Top of the 6th, rather. I'm sorry, we're in the 6th inning now, which is his point of weakness inning. All right, that is a 5-3, which is a fly ball right field excess. Nelson Cruz, that could be trouble. Cruz is a 4. He's only an E8, but he is a 4. 4 and 8 might go to his error check. 4 and an 8 does go as error check. He is an E8. E8 and a 10. E8 to 10 is a fly ball B. Good enough. So Nelson Cruz, a little shaky, but he did make the play for out number 1. And Correa is retired. Brings up Valbuena. His RBI double counts for the only run of the game. 1-2, and that's a low max, so it didn't really matter. The way it was on base, it's just going to be a line out to Chris Taylor for out number 2. But had Correa reached on that difficult play to right field, he would have gotten doubled off on the next at bat. So it pretty much didn't matter at that point. Here's Evan Gattis, the DH. 2 outs now. Base is clear. Top of the 6th, 1-0 Stros. 4-10, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. So Taijuan Walker, 6 innings, only allowing 1 run. He's certainly pitching well enough to be in the lead, but his mates can't get him any runs. At least they haven't yet, as they haven't figured out Dallas Keuchel. So Keuchel back out for the bottom of the 6th, and he will be facing Cruz, Seager, and Trumbo. Heart of the order for Seattle. This is where they need to make some hay when they get the heart of the order up here. 1-3, and that's a ground. I'm sorry, it's a fly ball to left. 1-4 would have been a homer, but 1-3, he just missed it. Got up under it, 1 away, and Seattle desperately misses Robinson Cano. That was really a gut punch to lose him. He's your MVP. There's Seager, 1-4 against the lefty, and that's a fly to right. Super advanced, you'd split that, but in advanced, it's simply a fly to right. Out number 2. And it takes us to the first baseman, Mark Trumbo. 5-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Correa handles it easily. 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Keuchel. So Seattle's really being hurt by not only injury to Cano, but the trades they made also, where they traded away Fernando Rodney, their closer. They traded away Austin Jackson, their leadoff hitter. And it's you lose a couple, and Cano, that's a couple of 3 important people to miss. So, but they're going to try to move on. They got by the Mets with this kind of lineup, so maybe they can do it against the Astros. We'll see. Taijuan Walker once pitched a 1-2-3-6, so he's still good to go for the 7th. Rasmus 4-8, and that's a 1-5 single, but that's a line out to second since it's a 19. Snagged by Chris Taylor, 1 away. So Rasmus is out. And now that will send up the number 8 hitter, Jason Castro, followed by Carlos Gomez. 1-8 against the righty, and that's a walk. So 1 out walk to Castro, who does not run well. But you're not going to take him out because he's a good defensive player. If you bring in Conger, he's terrible defense. And when you're in the lead, you want defense. So he will stay in the game. He will not be pinch run for. Carlos Gomez is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. 5-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's going to be Miller, and he is a 3 at shortstop. 3-19, though, is a good play, and that will be a double play. 6-4-3 to end the inning. Just what they needed. So nothing doing for Houston. Taijuan Walker trying to match Dallas Keuchel pitch for pitch as best he can. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time. It's still 1-0, and this is the point of weakness time for Mr. Keuchel. He'll be facing O'Malley, Montero, and Brad Miller. O'Malley has walked and singled. 1-8 against the lefty is another walk. I know it's hard to see here, but that is a walk. So O'Malley will draw the leadoff walk. He is a B stealer, so he will have to be held. And unfortunately for Seattle, Jesus Montero was a terrible bunter. Now, I guess they could bring somebody else into bunt if they want. So that is a possibility. Check their bench. See what kind of bunt ratings the players on the bench have. Let's see. Smith is a D. Morrison's a D. Jones is a C. Bloomquist, not really any good bunters. So we're going to stick with Montero. See if he can avoid a double play at least. Miller will have to be held on because he is a B stealer, so they can't just let him go carte blanche. They're going to have to hold him on. So if we get these plus results, that'll get through for a hit. 2-4, and it's a ground ball second base C, so that'll move the runner up. So it acted just like a sacrifice. He just won't get credit for one. But he does move the runner up, and that's Brad Miller now coming up. Lefty on lefty matchup with Keuchel. Base hit could tie the game. He's got a lot of single 2 stars on his card in column 1. But we're under column 4. 4-5's a strikeout. So Miller is out. 2 down for Sucre. Jesus Sucre. Runner at second and 2 down. Now, do they pinch hit for Sucre to try to get that run home? Let's see if they got anybody that can hit. Not worried about bunting now, worried about hitting, not bunting. Let's see. They have Bloomquist, but he's a worse hitter than Sucre is. So is Zanino. So their bench is really, unless you go to a lefty, Seth Smith, but he has a hard time with lefties. Same with Logan Morrison. I think you want to save them for when they bring the bullpen in, assuming they do bring the bullpen in. I think that's what you hold them for. So they're going to let Sucre hit. Now there are 2 outs. 2-5, and that is a ground ball to short that's going to end the inning. So Keuchel 7 shutout innings. And we go to the 8th, it's still 1-0. Question is, do you still leave Taijuan Walker in? He's only given up 1 walk, 1 base runner since he reached this point of weakness, so he's still good to go if they want to keep him going. Let's see who's coming up for Houston. It is the top of the order, Altuve. Do you let him face Altuve for the 4th time, or do you go to the bullpen? Let's see. I think they're going to go to the bullpen. They want a fresh arm out there. They're going to Tom Wilhelmsen. Wilhelmsen in the 15 season was 2-2 with a 3.19 ERA and 13 saves. So Wilhelmsen will get the call. And a nice outing for Taijuan Walker. 7 innings pitched, only the 1 run. But he's on the losing end right now because his mates did not get anything off of Dallas Keuchel yet. All right, here's Altuve to start the top of the 8th. Altuve's 0 for 3. 6-11. I gotta check injuries. See what Wilhelmsen's injury chance is. It'd be a shame if he got injured here on the first play. That would kind of stink. Wilhelmsen is a 2, which is a 6-11. So this is his error check. What do you think about that? We'll do the at bat first. 6-11 is a ground ball to third, so he will record the out. But Seattle really can't afford any more injuries. So Altuve is out, but we go to the injury chance for pitchers and see if Wilhelmsen can stay in the game. He needs a 1 through 6 to stay in the game. It's a 2, so he will shake it off and stay in the game, and Seattle fans breathing a sigh of relief. So 1 away, and that will send up Preston Tucker, the left fielder now. 6-7 against the lefty is a 1-12 single. That's an 8, so Preston Tucker will be aboard, but he will be called back off the base pass, and they will bring in a pinch runner, and that pinch runner is going to be Jake Marisnick, and he will take over in left field. So Jake Marisnick is your pinch runner, and he will take over. Actually, he will go back to right field. Will Marisnick, and now Rasmus will go back to his former left field position. So Marisnick is on. He's an A base stealer. So as an A base stealer, definitely have to hold him on. Would he try it? Sucre is a -3 though, so that would be tough. But they really would like to get him in scoring position, so they may try the steal anyway. Marisnik is an A, which means he starts as a 15. Being held makes him a 13. -3 from Sucre is a 10. It's a 50-50 proposition. They're going to send him. And he gets thrown out. So tough break there. They thought they would be aggressive, but didn't pay off. So Marisnik is caught stealing for out number 2. And now the bases are clear for Marwin Gonzalez. 3-10 against the righty is a 1 for a single. Anything else he lines to second. So he will line it to Chris Taylor, and the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. Keuchel still going strong. You're not going to take him out. He has not given up anything. He's given up 1 walk after his point of weakness was reached. So let's see, on the game, he's given up 4 hits. He's tossing a 4-hitter right now through 7 innings. So I think they're going to leave him on there. We're at the top of the order for Gutierrez. And again, Marisnik is in right field. Colby Rasmus is moved back to left field. Marisnik is a 1 in right field with a -2 arm. All right, here's Gutierrez. 3-5, struck him out. 1 down. Gutierrez now 1 for 4. And that'll bring up Chris Taylor, but do they pinch? I think they're going to pinch hit for Chris Taylor. If they have anybody on the bench that's worthy of pinch hitting, their bench is pretty weak, especially as far as right-handed hitters go. You got Bloomquist. He's only a 159 hitter. You know what? They're going to stick with Chris Taylor. They just don't have anybody. They got the lefties, but they don't do well against lefties, so they're going to leave Chris Taylor in the game and let him swing. 1-7, and he flies to left for out number 2. 2 down for Nelson Cruz. 1 swing of the bat. He could tie this game in a hurry. If he hits that column 1, he could certainly do it. And he did. 1-7, though. It's not going to be a home run. It's going to be a single. So a two out single for Nelson Cruz. Loads of home runs in column 1, but he found the number that gives him a single. So it is a 2-out single. That is the 5th hit issued or given up by Keuchel. And here is Seager. And now the bullpen for Houston is loosening. They do have Luke Gregerson, their closer, loosening in the pen, getting ready for the 9th and possibly an out here in the 8th if Keuchel struggles. 2-10, and that's, how about struggling there? 2-10 is a solid home run for Kyle Seager. It is long and it is gone. All of a sudden, with 1 swing of the bat, the fortunes of both teams have dramatically changed. It is now 2-1 in favor of Seattle here in the bottom of the 8th. 1 swing of the bat is all it took. And now Keuchel will leave the game, and they will go to the bullpen, will Houston. And they will bring on, since it's not a safe situation anymore, they will bring on Will Harris instead. So Will Harris gets the call to try to get this final out here in the bottom of the 8th. And it's going to be final out chance that they need to get is Mark Trumbo. But Trumbo will not hit. They will pull Trumbo back, and they will go to the bench for Logan Morrison, who's also a better defender. So Logan Morrison will pinch hit for Trumbo and stay in the game to play first base. So Trumbo is out, and Morrison is on. So Morrison will get the call, and more importantly, he's a better defender at first base. That's primarily why he's in there. 6-7, and that's a ground ball to second to end the inning. But damage done. The 2-run homer from Kyle Seager has put the Mariners in position to steal Game 1 right out from under the nose of the Astros. So Will Helmsen did his job, and now he will give way to their closer, Carson Smith. Carson Smith 2-5 with a 2.31 ERA and 13 saves. But Carson Smith a better ERA than Will Helmsen, so he's kind of taken over that closer role. So he will be in, and he'll be facing In the top of the ninth, Correa, Valbuena, and Gaddis. So Keuchel goes 7 2/3, gives up 2 runs, and now he's on the hook for the loss. Taijuan Walker gets off the hook for the loss. Now Will Helmsley has a chance to get the victory if the score stays 2-1. But the Astros and Carlos Correa might have something to say about that here in the top of the ninth. 2-1. Last chance for the Astros. Correa, Valbuena, and Gaddis. Not much on the bench. Chris Carter maybe, and maybe Conger. Correa 2-7, and that's a good start for Houston. 15, that's going to be a single. Won't be a double, but it will be a leadoff single for Correa, and he is a threat to steal, although that -3 arm by Sucre certainly looms large. So I think they're going to issue the steal. And they're going to send up Valbuena. They're not going to bunt. They're going to have him swing away. Correa does have to be held on. 6-11. Could that be an injury check for Carson Smith? Boy, Seattle dodging some traps here with these injuries. Let's see. 6-11 for Carson Smith in Seattle. Nope, Carson Smith is a 0. He cannot be injured, so he's fine there. 6-11's a fly to left. That's 1 away. Put away out there by Gutierrez for 1 out. That will bring up Evan Gaddis. Now, do you pinch hit for Gaddis? He has home run potential. He did hit 27 home runs on the season, so I just don't think you pinch hit for him. They're going to let him swing away. He's a double play candidate, but he's also a home run candidate. So you pick your poison. 1-9, and that is a strikeout. He's also a strikeout candidate. So he's out of there on strikes for out number 2, and it's down to Colby Rasmus. Last chance for Houston, or Seattle will steal one in game 1. Smith, 2-7. That's a walk, and that'll put runners at first and second. Runners are at first and second, and they will have to hold the runner at second because he's a good base runner, that being Correa. So the ground ball plus, like a 3-7 here, would end up being a base hit. So Carson Smith's got to be careful. Jason Castro, the batter. Now, do they go with Conger as a pinch hitter? Because Jason Castro is only a 2-11 hitter. Let's check Conger, the backup catcher. He's only a 229 hitter, so that's not much better. Jed Lowry's 222. He's not much better. Chris Carter's 199. So you know what? I think they're going to stick with Castro. Their bench is just awful. So they're going to stick with Castro. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the ninth, 2-1 Seattle. Carson Smith trying to put it away for Seattle. 4-6, and he does. It's a fly to right field, and that's going to end the ball game. Seattle steals one, and I mean steals one, from the Astros. Final score of 2-1. A 2-run homer. Player of the game is Kyle Seager, as his 2-run homer was the difference. Kyle Seager is the man. His 2-run homer was the difference. Only runs of the game. And I'll be right back for the totals and set you up for game number 2. All right, for the totals, we go to the line score. Seattle wins it 2-1 on the 2-run homer by Kyle Seager in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 6 left for Seattle. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors, 7 left for Houston. Winning pitcher was Tom Wilhelmsen. The loser was Dallas Keuchel, and Carson Smith gets the save. So look at the pitching line. Dallas Keuchel, 7 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, but that home run got him. Taijuan Walker, a nice game, but no decision. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. So player of the game, Kyle Seager, gives the Mariners a 1-0 lead in this best of 5. And they take out the Astros when the Astros had their ace going. But game 2 looms, and Colin McHugh did very well against Cleveland in the first series as the number 2 starter. So he's coming back for Houston. It'll be Colin McHugh, and he'll be facing Seattle's right-hander, Iwakuma. So we battle of right-handers, and then there's a day off, and we go to Houston. And in game 3, it will be Lance McCullers for Houston, and then Seattle will toss the their left-hander, James Paxton. Then if it goes to a game 4, it'll be Mike Fiers against King Felix. And if it goes to game 5, we'll be right back here in Seattle with the same matchup, Keuchel against Taijuan Walker. So trying to mix this in with the New York Yankees 2022 payoff pitch replay, and of course the NBC Game of the Week Saturday Game of the Week 1975 season, which was the first game was just played yesterday. Very exciting game, so hopefully you can check that out if you haven't already. And that's going to do it from here. From Seattle is Kyle Seager, player of the game. Takes it for Seattle in game 1. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you all down the road.